everyone, it's Fran here. I'm back with you today to create a Christmas tutorial. So we're going to be getting into the festive mood. So what I'm going to be using is this cardboard papier-mâché cone. Okay, so you can buy these pretty easily in most sort of art or craft shops, and they're really cheap. And we're going to be altering this. Okay, so we're going to be using a few things that you've probably got lying around or that you can pick up again quite cheaply. So we've got some old tinsel. Okay, so I'm sure most of us have got some tatty old tinsel that is knocking around in our attics and lofts. Or you can pick this up really cheaply in pound or dollar stores as well. So that's what we're going to be using for the main base of our tree. Okay, so I've got some of my tinsel there. I've also got, just move my little cone to one side. So I've also got, oops, wrong way around. So I've got some PVA glue. So again, this is just basic standard glue. We've also got some gesso. So again, this is just white heavy gesso. You could also use acrylic paint for this as well, but I'm just going to use gesso because it is obviously a primer as well, and it just gives a good finish to things by using that. We've also got some glitters, so I've just got various colour glitters there. So I've got a white, a silver. I don't know if the camera picked that up. It's like a sort of dark charcoaly silver, and I've got some chunky silver glitter as well, so that's going to look quite cool. Okay, so what we're going to do with our cone is I'm going to get my PVA glue, and then I'm just going to blob some onto the surface. Okay, then I'm going to use my paintbrush, and then I'm just going to give this a nice spread around on the surface. So obviously you don't want to be painting all the tree at once. You just want to do a section of it and then move on to the next, because obviously it's going to get a little bit tricky to hold it. Okay, so I'm just going to pop that down onto my surface, and then I'm going to get my tinsel. Okay, and then I'm just going to start sticking that. Okay, so I'm just going to go in again with my glue, and then just again spreading that over most of the surface. You want a decent layer of the glue on, not too thin obviously, because you want the tinsel to stick down. So you can see there, got quite a bit of glue on there. Right, so I'm going to stick this tinsel down, and then I'm just going to start kind of coiling it around the cone. So obviously this is quite thin tinsel, so you're going to get more of a chunky effect if you just use more normal standard size tinsel. You can use either. Okay, so I'm just going to try and fill in any gaps as I see, coiling as I go along. Oops. Okay, so I'm just going to go in with a bit more glue. And then just finish painting the bottom area of the tree. If you're careful, you will find a way of doing it without getting too much on your fingers. And for me, I'm doing pretty well. I haven't got too much all over my hands, so I think that's a result. Right, so just put that around there. Okay, just pop my little tree down, and I'll just get a bit more tinsel as I run out. I'm just going to start coiling around right to the bottom. You can obviously just pop your tinsel back in if you can see any gaps. Just push it down a little bit or just add extra, because obviously the glue will be still wet. And then I'm just going to finish going around all the way to the bottom part. So I'm just going to add a little bit more glue on those bits just to finish off the last piece. Okay, so I'll just tuck that in the middle just a minute, just so you can sort of see where we're going with that. Okay, so I'm just going to let this dry off, so just let the glue set, so that can be up to half an hour or so, and then I will show you what we're going to be doing next. Okay, so now the glue on my tree has dried off, I'm going to paint it now. So what I'm going to be using is some gesso, as I mentioned earlier. You can also use acrylic paint if you wish, but as I say, I'm going to use gesso. So I'm just going to start painting over the tree. So you're going to need to work your brush in to all those little crevices on the tree, and obviously the tinsel, you want to work that in to the surface as well. And just get everything covered in whatever paint or gesso that you're going to use. And so also while you're painting, you can also sort of brush some of the fibres of the tinsel up, so when they dry they're going to stick out rather than just painting them all sort of flat down to the surface. You just want to kind of paint your brush the opposite way, so you're painting your gesso like so, then you want to just go over and flick those little fibres off your tinsel if you want them to sort of have more of a 3D effect once it's dry. And also the little bits that are sticking out around the edge, or the bottom of the tree, I am just going to go and trim those off with a pair of scissors once everything is dried off. And it just makes it a little bit easier to stand up, etc. Obviously by painting either acrylic paint or gesso on top of this, it also helps to seal the tinsel onto the tree as well. I know that we've already used glue, but this kind of gives an extra kind of sealant on top of it, if you will. Okay, so my tree is still wet and damp. Okay, so I'm just going to just get a piece of paper and put that down there. So next I'm just going to use my glitters. Okay, so as I say, the gesso or the paint, if you're using that, is still going to be wet. So into the wet gesso I'm going to sprinkle some glitter. Okay, so I'm just going to do it by turning the tree. So I've just got my hand in the underneath recess of the tree, and then I'm just going to sprinkle my glitter. So again, this is just normal standard glitter. So this one's a white one. I'm just going to sprinkle the excess off as I go around. So obviously the gesso is catching all that glitter. Okay, so I'm just going to use another colour now. So just move this one to one side. Okay, and then put my paper down. And I'm going to use some of the darker charcoal glitter next. So just a little smattering here and there of that one, just to add a little bit of extra definition, because obviously I put white glitter onto white gesso and I just want a little bit of extra contrast on it. So then I'm just going to a little bit and just tapping the excess off as I go around. Oops, like so, just tap that in a little bit. Okay, so you can see the effect that we've got going on there. So finally, I'm going to be using this chunky silver glitter. Okay, so this is the other two I've used were just standard fine glitters, and this is more of a nice chunky spangly glitter. Right, so open up my little packet, and then again, oops, I'm just going to sprinkle a little bit of that on, so you can see how thick that is compared to the previous one I've used. But obviously, if you don't have a selection of size glitters, any standard glitter would be absolutely fine. It's just because obviously I've got a few different ones that I just thought it'd be cool to use those. Okay, so you can see, wow, that looks amazing now, doesn't it? All that glitter is shimmering brightly. Looks very festive now. Okay, so what I'm going to do next is I'm just going to leave my tree to dry off naturally. I don't want to use a heat tool on this to dry it, because obviously I don't want to melt or damage the tinsel. So air dry is best for this. So just natural drying time, so probably in 45 minutes or so this will be dry, and then I will start moving on to decorating up the tree. Okay, so as you can see, my tree has now dried off, so all the gesso and the glue is now nice and dry, and it's now ready to decorate. Okay, so obviously it's going to be shedding a little bit of glitter, but obviously if you just give it a few taps, all the excess will eventually come off. Okay, so I'm going to use a few bits and bobs to decorate my tree. Okay, so first of all, I'm just going to use some fibre. Okay, so this is funky fibre, and also you can use things like wool or twines that you've already got in your sewing box, or that you can pick up quite cheaply as well. Okay, and obviously you can use ribbon if you want to as well, but I just want a bit more texture. Okay, so I'm just going to get my PVA glue again, and I'm just going to use a couple of little blobs of that just to secure my fibre on with. So I'm just going to pop a little bit on the top like so, and then just kind of wrap that around loosely, and then just a bit further down I'm just going to pop a little bit more glue, and then just sort of coil it round to the bottom, and then obviously again just go in there and just secure that with a little bit of glue. I'll just brush that on with my finger, so you can use a paintbrush, you don't have to do it the messy way like I always do. Okay, so we've got a little bit of kind of further texture going on there, so that looks quite good. So let's see what we've got. Right, so I've die cut 2 paper snowflakes. Okay, so I've just die cut those out of card, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to layer my snowflakes up. So I think it looks better that way, so I'll just get rid of those little excess bits, and again I'm just going to go in with a little bit of
PVA glue, and then I'm just going to stick and layer the snowflakes up. So it looks about right there. Okay. Also, I've got a little chipboard medallion, and I've just stuck a sticker in there. So I don't know if you can see that. It says, "May your days be jolly and bright." So this is a Prima sticker and a old Prima piece of chipboard. Okay. But again, you can kind of punch these out of old Christmas cards even. I mean, if you get quite a few Christmas cards, you will have various designs that you can pick from, that you can get some cool things that you can use for your project. So that's another good cheap idea that you can use as well. And obviously you can pick up loads and loads of Christmas embellishments and tags and such like at this time of year as well. So that's going to be easy for you to get hold of. Alright, so just going to pull the self-adhesive backing off, and of course I'm just going to secure with an extra bit of glue. So again, I'm just using PVA glue, nothing fancy, and then I'm just going to stick that in the middle, so it's all just about layering up at this stage. Okay. Oops. So I'm going to pop that to one side. Okay, so next I'm just going to add a little bit of extra texture onto the tree. So I've just got some tulle net there that I've got just a small piece of. Okay, and what I'm going to do with this is I'm just going to just tear it in half. Obviously you can cut it, but I like to tear it. I just need to cut that a little bit because it's stuck. And I'm just tearing down the middle just to make some smaller bits. So using a combination of scissors and tearing. Okay, so I've just got two small bits there, if you can see that. Just put that one to one side. So again, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go near the top of my tree. Again, we're just going to use some PVA glue, and I'll just work that in. And obviously this is going to dry clear, so no need to worry about any strange colours once it's dry. And then I'm just going to twine this around, twirl it around the tree, and I'm just doing it in the gaps where I haven't put the fibre. Okay, so it's just alternating. Okay, so I'm just going to pop some glue in there and then just put a little bit inside, and then just stick that down. Okay, and also if you want, you can also just add an extra sprinkle of glue. I can just even roll it into the excess where some of the excess has dropped off. I can just kind of pop a little bit of glue into the glitter into the wet glue. Okay, so that's what we've got so far. So next I'm going to get some exciting bits and bobs on now. So I'm just going to use some paper flowers. I've got a selection of paper flowers. I've got my snowflake that I created a few minutes ago. Just some berry embellishments, and some of these are just off boxes and packaging that I've just saved and put in a box to use later on, so you can just pick up some cool embellishments just from your old packaging. Also just got a few extra paper snowflakes that I may want to use. Yeah, okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to use a hot glue gun. Okay, so hot glue gun is always good for sticking your embellishments down onto something like this. So just move those out of the way. Let's see, so I'm just going to pop some glue down there. Just move that to one side. and I'm just going to start sticking a few of my flowers. Okay, so just press that down. So I'm just going to go around the top of the tree with the flowers basically, so a bit more glue on there. That's going to get stuck down like so. So I'm just going to add a little bit of green into this project as well, because predominantly I've got white and obviously the silver, but I just want to add a little bit of colour into it because I think that looks quite nice. Just to have a little bit of contrast. And I think it looks quite fresh as well, white, silver and green. I quite like that colour scheme. Okay, so I'm just going to put another one on there. Put that to the side. Okay, so just fill that little gap with a slightly bigger flower. So it's just about really just going around and it's filling in all those little areas with some embellishments. So I'm just gone around the top of the tree. Okay, so I'm just going to pop a few other bits and bobs on as well. So I'm just going to fit everything around. So I think that looks quite good there. And you can of course use die cut paper flowers as well, or just you can just use natural things, so you can just use sticks, twigs, pine cones, anything goes really. Okay, so what I've decided to do is I'm just going to just pull this part of my flower off. Okay, so I'm just going to gather it and just keep twisting till the top bit comes off. I might need some scissors for this as well. Okay. Right, so I've put that to one side. Okay, so now we've got a flat base which I want to stick my snowflake embellishment on. Okay, so I'm just going to pop a bit of hot glue on top of that, and then I'm just going to kind of stick that on the top, so we've got some nice layering going on there. I quite like that look. And with my remaining flour, I'm just going to find somewhere I can stick that down. So let's put a little bit of glue on, and then I'll just nestle it somewhere. To just use every part of it. Okay. So I've just got some bit of remaining tinsel as well that I used earlier for the covering of the tree, and I've got the star pin, so it's just a pin with a resin star on the top, and my die cut snowflakes. Okay, so what I'm going to do is just pop a bit of hot glue. You can use PVA for this as well, doesn't really matter. Then I'm just going to layer these two snowflakes up. Then I'm going to use some of the tinsel, so I'm just going to gather it up. I'm going to get rid of those bits as well, so I don't want those. A little bit there, so just snip those off, gather it up a little bit. Then I'm going to go in with my glue gun, and then I'm just going to pop the scrunched up tinsel, nearly call it foil then, tinsel, in the middle of it. Then I'm just going to pop a tiny bit of glue on my star, or on the back of it, and then that is going to go on top. Okay, so you can see that there, and then that will sit in the top, hopefully, of the tree. So I'm just going to just push that down so you can see what that looks like there. Okay, so what else have I got that we can use? Okay, so I think I want to add some berries, I think, so I'm just going to sort of gather those up, twist them, because they've all got wire on the end, so I'm just going to... Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to stick the berries in the back of the snowflake on the top, because I think that looks quite cool, and I'm just going to sort of push those and just hold those for a couple of seconds. Then I've got some more net that I used around the tree, and I'm just going to rip or tear some pieces of that like so you can see what that looks like. Then I'm just going to tie these in a knot in the middle to create a bit of a sort of makeshift bow. So just loosen those out a little bit, tear that more, so it gives a softer feel. Okay, then what I'll do is I think I'm going to use a little bit of the glue again, and I think that's going to go on the back of my tree, so you can see, oops, that looks quite nice, doesn't it, there, I think. And I think it's quite nice. I'm just going to finish the back of that arrangement off with a flat paper flower, just to sort of cover up all the knots and the backs of the wire. So I'm just going to pop that on there. Okay, so that's looking quite nice, I think. So twist that around a little bit. Okay, so now things are taking shape, I think. So I've just got some just pearl beads there in a little tray that I'm just going to use to dot about. So obviously things like beads are great for adding embellishment, and of course are cheap, and you can also use bits of old necklace as well, or broken necklace. They're great for adding texture onto things as well. So I'm just going to dot, put my glue gun down, that'd be an idea, a little bit of the glue, and then I'm just going to push one of the little pearls in there. So I'm just going to add the odd one of these as a extra embellishment here and there. So I just want a few, I don't want too many, because there's quite a lot going on there, but they just look quite cute, like little tiny baubles. Okay, so I'm just going to use some of my liquid pearls. I'm just going to sort of go around the sort of little baubles that we put on earlier in the last step. So just literally just swirling some of this on there, so it looks like snow. And also I can just cover up the little thread hole on the beads as well. That's a kind of good thing to do, just to sort of cover that up a bit if it's showing anywhere. So that's just going to pick up some nice glitter, and obviously in the flower, on the flowers it always looks good. Looks like frosty snow. So I'm just going to use some of the glitter glue now. Of course you can just use some standard PVA glue that we used earlier on with the glitter as well, so you don't have to sort of buy fancy glitter glues or anything, but obviously if you've got some it just makes things a little bit easier for you. And just a final thing, I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to use some of my gesso, and just going to just spread some of that onto the net, and then just in all these excess glitter particles that have just come off, I'm just going to collect those onto the wet gesso, so that just adds a little bit of extra glitz onto our net. Okay, so there we have our 3D tree, just used from a papier-mâché cardboard cone and some old repurposed tinsel and glitter, of course. So that just looks really cool as a centerpiece on your table or on your mantelpiece. So that's just really nice for Christmas, and you can even use that as a tree topper as well if you wish, instead of a traditional star or angel. So there's a few things that you can use that for. So thank you for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video, and until next time, take care, and I will see you really, really soon. Bye!